What's going on, ladies and gentlemen and ladies? Welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Happy Friday. We got a bunch of crazy stuff to talk about, as we do every single day. We got these 4 YNs that decide they're going to carjack a Marine, and, of course, it didn't go the way they thought. Asian versus the black community now at war after the shooting of a 14-year-old young black man over water. And you know, y'all quit playing. Ain't nobody shot that boy over no water. We're going to talk about that. Karmelo Anthony's trial. Misinformation is everywhere, and I need to clear it up so we're not confused. High school student is claiming excessive force after this fool resisted arrest and acted a fool, and then the police had to do what he had to do. I'm just saying, I'm trying not to be biased, but look, bro, y'all got to quit cutting up. Jesse, what's the guy named Jesse Ridgway? His abortion story. I know some of you guys have heard about it. They thought their kid was going to have Down syndrome and decided to take the kid's life, which is absolutely insane. Before we get to all of that, all of that, I want to talk about some updates from California's voting fiasco. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. What's going on, y'all? Thank y'all. I want to give a special shout out for the people who are subscribers, people who are members of the Tatum Squad membership. I appreciate you guys. I don't care if you're a rookie or a deputy chief, or if you just follow me in general and you're not signed up for anything. I still love you and appreciate you, and everybody together is the reason why this platform is what it is. So I want to say thank you to every single person that contributed on every single level of my platform. I personally, I want to say thank you, and I love you guys. And when I see you in public, don't be shy, man. If you see me, I'm a very friendly guy. I'll say hi to you. I'll take a picture with you. It's because I appreciate God giving me influence, and you ain't never going to find me being Mr. I'm too good to talk to people. I'll never in my life be that way. All right? So let's get to the first story. California is still counting votes in the election, which is absolutely crazy. I actually wonder and worry, are they going to do some shenanigans, man? You know, I think that Spencer Pratt had a real good, consistent articulation of the fact that if we can outvote, you know what, interference in the election. Can I just say that? We can outvote that if we all show up. In most elections, only half of the people show up to vote, and especially in these one-off elections that's not during a presidential election, people don't even turn out. They're too busy doing everything else. But overwhelmingly, people do have a problem with what's going on in California, and if they actually put their vote where their complaints are, we could see a better LA. But you still wonder, after them taking so long, and even though it's 2026, to actually finish a freaking vote, that becomes problematic. All right, let's check the news and see what the news had to say about it. Roll it.
We are at LA County's massive processing center. This is the location where all of the ballots are supposed to be shipped and counted. And in the latest ballot dump, LA County says it processed 81,000 votes since the first big election night numbers, but there's still 688,000 to go. Karen Bass is strengthening her lead, picking up about 12,000 votes yesterday. Spencer Pratt added about 6,000 and remains in second. Third place, Nithya Raman added nearly 11,000 votes, eating away at Pratt's lead. Now, in the governor's race, an estimated 60% of the vote is processed. Republican Steve Hilton remains number one. Democrat Javier Becerra picked up 158,000 votes and is closing in on Hilton within about 1 percentage point. Democrat Tom Steyer in third. Now, the most recent mail-in ballots that were processed are favoring Democrats, as many analysts suggested they would. Inside the ballot processing center here in LA County, any ballot that was postmarked by Election Day Tuesday must be counted by law. The process takes so long in part because each ballot must have its signature verified, and if there's an issue, there's a 10-day period to have it cured. California's Secretary of State is defending it all, writing, "Accuracy comes before speed." California is the nation's largest voting state with millions of ballots to process and count. Taking the time to do this work correctly protects voters' rights and ensures the integrity of our election. Now, the state of California statewide says it still has 3.6 million ballots left to be counted. So at this rate, it is very likely that we'll be standing here on Monday, reporting to you on Monday, with many more ballots to be counted.
With a Secretary of State looking like that, I don't have no trust in that election. God dang. They couldn't put a better picture in her. They got a middle school picture up there. That girl, get it together. But anyway, it is slightly concerning when you see the same thing that happened to Donald Trump in 2020. You see him leading, doing very well, and then all of a sudden these ballot dumps go in favor of Democrats at massive numbers. That's not even reasonable, and so it make you concerned. But what I will say is this: I'm very encouraged that the Republicans are even as competitive as they are in California. Hilton is almost there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hilton is winning right now. That seems unbelievable in California. Let's get to a couple clips with Jesse Waters, and then we're going to go to a couple of topics. And I think the topic that y'all all want to hear me talk about, and that's the abortion thing, which is absolutely insanity. But we'll talk about that here next. But let's play the clip from Jesse Waters. Roll it.
They're just going to slow walk a winner. That doesn't create trust. It's insane. This election system that they've created here is just another monument to their uselessness, another version of high-speed rail. The whole thing is insane. I mean, the fact that you're sending out mail ballots to every single person on a voting roll that is wildly inaccurate, the whole thing is a joke, just like pretty much everything else they try and do here. It's not a mystery. It's slow by design. Then the local registrars gum up a bit worse. They're not required to release daily updates. So each county releases results whenever they feel like it. There's no real deadline to finish the count or to tell people what the votes are. They have about a month to finish, and in the last 24 hours, only 3% more of the vote came in. Florida tallies 8 million ballots before bedtime. California can't even count a single city in a week. What Gavin Newsom has done here is a national embarrassment. I had a whistleblower that contacted me from a post office describing that they had different buckets they were supposed to put the ballots in after they come in after Election Day, and they were explicitly told that it didn't just have to be a postmark that was on or before Election Day that qualified. If the date was handwritten, that would be okay as well. Handwritten. So your ballot counts if someone just scribbles a date on it? No postmark, no proof, nothing. Now, if that's true, we are in deep trouble.
But I would add, we're only in deep trouble if we don't participate. Go turn your stuff. They turn theirs and turn your stuff in. They want to do ballot harvest. They want to do that. Why don't we do it? Let me just say this instead of us complaining, how about we go and do what they're doing? Clearly, they don't care nothing about election integrity in California. Then why don't we go and turn our ballots in late if they turn their ballots in late? I'm just saying. You know, we got to start fighting fire with fire instead of letting them just get the best of us. All right, let's get to the Jesse Ridgway abortion story, which is absolutely crazy. Put your seatbelt on because this is about to get insane. But before we get there, I want to tell you guys about the 250 merch. Make sure you go to tatumstore.com, tatumstore.com. I got a couple shirts I want to show you. Happy birthday to the United States of America, 250th birthday. This is our best seller right here, the one I got. I'm going to show you now, which is pretty cool. 250, got the eagle on there, got the stamp. You cannot get this with this quality anywhere else. I'm just letting you know. Everybody that shop on our store, you know what it is. We got 30,000 reviews, 5-star reviews, and almost 200,000 customers. So it's a legitimate store. They got legitimate merch. Get you some of the merch today, tatumstore.com. Let's get to the Jesse Ridgway abortion story. This story bothers me for a few reasons. Let me start with this. You live in America. The laws are the laws. People can do whatever they want to do. But they also can be critiqued and criticized for the decisions that they're making that most people know and believe are not right. And then let me say this. If you're going to publicly make a statement, support a cause, put your business out there, that people are going to come after you with their opinions. If you don't like that, then don't put your pregnancy stuff out there and then put out there that you decided to unalive the unborn because you thought the kid may not be perfect. That is shameful for you to boast it. I mean, it's not a person that made a decision behind it. They are boasting and promoting and elevating this decision making as if it's normalized and okay. It is not. I want to be very clear. It is not okay for you to say this is eugenics argument from Margaret Sanger from a long time ago. The undesirables should be eliminated before they're born. That's what she started with. And this is exactly what they're doing. Because there's a possibility that my child may have autism or, in this case, Down syndrome, then they don't deserve to live. And I'm going to tell you how sickening this is, and we're going to play a couple clips. It's not 100% chance that your kid will have Down syndrome. It was a chance, not 100%. Your kid could have been fine. This is why you don't unalive the unborn and when it 4 months or 5 months old, because things change. I got 2 kids. I could have sworn that when we went to do the ultrasounds, there was signs of potential issues. They were looking at the head size and they were saying, oh, yeah, there could be, a kid could have Down syndrome or something like that. But what did they say? It's a possibility. However, we need to do more in-depth study and invasive ways to figure out, is this truly a fate for your child? But they give you a hypothetical, a possibility, and then you have to do more intrusive stuff to determine if that is 100% true. And I'll say this and I'm gonna move on. If it is 100% true and your child has Down syndrome, they still deserve to live. They still deserve to have a life. They're people too. And these leftist nut jobs are always talking about disabled people and all this other stuff, but you okay with them saying the possibility of a child not being perfect to you, that they don't even deserve to live? Come on, let's play the clips. I got an influencer that made a statement about it, and I think it's pretty incredible. Wrote a clip. I think it sums it up pretty well. Roll it.
About to go off on a rant here, so bear with me. Just a few days after posting a video of his baby wriggling away on an ultrasound machine, prominent YouTuber Jesse Ridgway, who's got over 4 million subscribers, posted on X that he and his wife had decided to have a second trimester abortion after their child was diagnosed with Down syndrome. He said they didn't want to raise a child with cognitive impairments, physical disabilities, or who might have a shorter lifespan, saying that it would be more beneficial to their family to terminate the baby. Now, before you go and say, well, this is just a personal, private matter, apparently this dude has been dragging out the story of his child's diagnosis for weeks over on YouTube for clicks. And he also has a disabled dog that he's apparently spent tons of time and money trying to keep alive. So, now look, I understand tackling the abortion issue with compassion and love when that's warranted and when someone is truly searching, but sometimes a spade is a spade and we gotta call it one. This is murder. This is the willful, targeted killing of a child who was deemed deficient or inconvenient. It is eugenics straight out of Hitler's playbook. It's evil, and it's now being defended by pro-aborts as compassionate and justified. And we've got all these people saying, look, well, we shouldn't cast judgment. We should be compassionate. Okay, where is the compassion for the vulnerable, innocent, living baby who was just poisoned, dismembered, and pulled out of its mother in pieces? Yeah, I think public outrage and some shame is entirely appropriate for bragging about open infanticide. And I am so tired of people pretending like this is some morally gray area when it's not one. The onus is not on a child to be perfect and healthy so that your life can be easy and you can have the shiny, happy Instagram family you've always imagined. The onus is on you to be a parent and to love that child unconditionally because that's your job. And contrary to what our culture tells you, not everything is about your comfort and convenience. And may God have undeserved mercy on a society that has decided that disabled children are just scraps to be tossed in the garbage.
Show over. We going home. I don't think there's nothing else that need to be said. Like 100%. Listen to me, y'all. There's room for compassion. Some people are coerced into these things. Some people are genuinely scared. Some people have no support. Some people think it's their only option to unalive the unborn. These things happen. The industry is poisonous. They're telling young women that you can do this on a whim. Let me give you an example. Look how easy it is. Right here. Do you know what's in this little bag here? It's a pill. A pill that allows you to unalive the unborn male right to a young lady's mailbox. You think they verified the age of these young women? Do you think they verified? They didn't do none of that stuff. You can be in an unplanned situation and you can order these things and come right to your doorstep. Your kids are probably getting this in the mail and you have no idea. That's how easy it is. And I'll just add this, and then I'm going to get to some of the other clips. There's a time and place for compassion, and we should all be compassionate. But there does need to be education on this topic, please. Because a lot of young people are being convinced by these nut jobs, because I don't even think that these people, I would question if they even did some of the stuff they said they did. They showed a pregnancy thing, but were they Wrigley? Did they have unalive the unborn months ago? And they drug it out and then tried to play this whole thing on you to get emotional sympathy when they did it a long time ago. I've seen people literally get on there and they made a decision before they ever showed the pregnancy results because they had already done it. Then later on, they roll it out. But I'm going to make this plea to you for all those who care about this topic, believe in this topic. I want you guys to believe in it or at least support organizations that are doing things that are right. And I work with a ton of organizations that do this. Save the Storks is one of the organizations that do it right. And they make sure that young women get information. They make sure that we're fighting against this stuff just like this. And I want you guys to join me in the same thing I do. I'm a member. I think my family donated $100 a month to Save the Storks. And that's to help women, to get them access to the right decisions, to help them and support them with compassion and love so they don't end up like this. So all you got to do is go to SaveTheStorks.org/Tatum, SaveTheStorks.org/Tatum. The link is in the description section. Let's finish this. Let's get back to this topic. I want y'all to see kind of the progression of what happened. Here's the pregnancy test. Roll it.
Okay, read that. There's a faint line right there.
Where's the instruction?
Okay.
Why is this complex? Where's the pregnant, not pregnant one?
So positive, 2 strong lines or strong line and a faint line. Negative, positive, Jess.
Right?
That's positive. I'll freak out.
I think it is. What have you done?
I don't know. We can't go back.
I think it is.
I mean, I'm gonna take more, but I don't have to pee right now.
My brain.
My brain.
Bro, it didn't feel like
No.
it, right?
No, it doesn't. It's not like that's where I'm shocked. I mean, it came up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's legit, dude.
What did we do?
All right. First of all, why y'all even putting this on the internet? But second of all, I don't understand how people are bumping and grinding and pumping and sweating, and you shock when you get pregnant. I'm kind of confused on this thing. That's like drinking water and it's surprised you're hydrated. I don't understand. Like, if you're gonna be doing the next logical step is that you could get pregnant. Now let's move past this point. Did that look very genuine to me? Not really, but I don't know. Some people are awkward. They look like two awkward people. So maybe they're genuine, but they're awkward. But that was the results of the ultrasound. I mean, of the test that they took to indicate that they were pregnant. Okay, let's play the ultrasound clip. And this is them, playing an ultrasound clip of celebrating their baby. All right, let's get to the test results.
Here we go. We're going to see the result. I have to download the official report. Abnormal insight result. Consistent with trisomy 21. No.
What is it? Wait, where are you seeing this? Oh.
No.
Let me see. I can't see it.
It says abnormal insight result. Oh, that showed 3 chromosome 21 signals consistent with trisomy 21 Down syndrome. Genetic counseling is recommended. Pattern consistent with trisomy 21.
All right. Somebody brought up something suspicious they did. I'll play it for you. Watch the girl right here. Roll the clip.
Hey.
I think I missed the part. She had her hands like this, and then she kind of looked at him to see what he was doing, and then she went back to doing that. Now think about this for a minute. If I'm not mistaken, and somebody in the comment section correct me if you had a kid more recently, if I'm not mistaken, when you're earlier in your pregnancy, sometimes they give these indications, but it's not 100% true. It's not 100% foolproof. They took a test, but there was no reason for them to have an intrusive enough test to make a full determination. So they must be, having some preliminary results that could be completely not true. It's just a chance that these things could happen. Now, I think I got a clip that just popped up on the screen. All right, put it up on the screen. It says, this week, my wife and I made a very difficult decision to terminate the pregnancy due to, what is that? Trisomy 21. All right, let's get to some of the things that he said in response, because I want to point something out, statistical data points. All right, let's get to his X post or whatever the case may be. So this is an X post that he put online. I want to read just a little bit of it because I think that most of it is not that important, but there's some things he said in there that struck me. Let's start with the first one because I don't think this is the first one. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is the one I wanted to. That was the first one, but this is the one I wanted to talk about. We'll go back to the first one. I want to read it a little bit, and then I'm going to jump to this one. This one is the more important one, but I want to just give the stance. So this weekend, my wife and I, that's exactly what he said. The choice was made lightly. It was not made lightly. We really appreciate all of the personal stories that you guys share with us, especially the unconditional support we receive from fans no matter what we decided, that's not love. That's capitulation to you doing whatever you want to do. Love tells you when you're doing things that are not in your best interest. I know some of you may be disappointed to hear the news. We are devastated. That has been extremely traumatic for both of us, especially Ashley. She underwent the procedure earlier this week and is on the mend, I think it's called. Thankfully, everything went smoothly, but emotionally, we are drained. And then he talks about the Down syndrome thing. It says this, I don't know how to say it, but I don't want to say it wrong. 21, also known as Down syndrome, is caused by an extra chromosome. It is caused by an error in a cell division, likely a glitch. The odds of a baby having it is 1 in 1,000. Okay, let's get to this next one. I'm gonna jump down a little bit because this is where the statistical data points are here, and this is what makes it even worse, right? Once we made it public, it became clear that most people don't know what Down syndrome entails, right? So he's trying to justify this, right? 50% of babies with Down syndrome has heart defects. It didn't say 100. Let's make that very clear. It doesn't say 100%. It says 50%. So you could have a child that have DS or Down syndrome, and they didn't have a birth defect or a heart defect. 75% have hearing challenges. It didn't say 100%. So how do you know your baby gonna have hearing challenges? 50% will have vision problems, impaired immune function, developmental disability, learning disability, delayed physical development, poor muscle tone, structural issues with the face, decreased lifespan, etc. Sadly, the list is long. Feel free to look it up. Down syndrome isn't a blessing. Are you really putting this online? It's a crappy form of a health perspective, from a health perspective. Think about this for a minute. I got some stats for you, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. This is eugenics. This is problematic. If you wanted to make a decision, you could have made that decision and left it off the internet. But since you put it on there, people gonna get on your head. You cannot, I think it's bad and in poor taste to make a decision because you think that the kid might have this. You think that the kid might not be good enough. You think that the kid might have this. It's not 100%. But since you think the kid is not going to be perfect for your life, you decide that you can get rid of the kid. Let's show you what size the kid was that they got rid of. I don't know the actual date, but when we put two and two together, people online are saying 4 to 5 months. That's the size of a pear. The other one is the size of a peach or a pear. Let's get to a hand gesture, which is a kind of a illustrate how big a baby would be. That's how big a baby would be. Look how big that is. Arms, legs, fully formed head, all of the above. And that's 3 months. That's not 4 or 5 months. They believe that she did this in the 4th or 5th month of pregnancy. All right. So you think that it's okay to do that, but if you look at children that are born into poverty, born without a father in a single-parent home, born in a single-parent home, 31% likely to be in poverty. A child that is not born or living with their biological father are 2 times more likely to spend time in prison. A young man raised without a father, 14 times, or only a 14% graduation from college. Raised without a biological father, 19% are not working or in school. 29% initiated drug use. Kids that are not born with both parents in the household. Talk about mental health. It says children in one-parent homes are about 2 times more likely to face psychological illness or psychiatric illness, suicide attempts, alcohol-related problems. So if you got a kid that's in a single mother home, is it okay that you say that they don't have their life not worth living? Because these are the statistical data points that could happen? Well, I know a lot of people that grew up in these situations and circumstances where they say they wasn't going to be nothing, and they end up being some of the greatest people to ever live. There are situations and circumstances where they tell you your kid may have Down syndrome. They may be an incorrect diagnosis, and the kid come out just normal. Or you have a child that have Down syndrome, and that kid is loving and compassionate and add value to your life like any other kid. I see so many kids with Down syndrome, and they may look different, but their heart is the same. They're loving the same. They're more compassionate. They have life and they have value just like anybody else. And these leftist nut jobs decide to be outraged when it's convenient for them. I'm going to give you 2 examples. One is probably going to make you throw up in your mouth. The first example, and this is what wins the argument with these leftists all the time. You say, what if in utero, you can find out or determine that your kid is gay or trans, right? Born in the wrong body, whatever the case may be. Just say we can find it out because they claim the kids are born like that. If you tell a person and say, I don't think I want a kid that's gay. I don't think their life will turn out the same or whatever the case may be, so I should be able to abort that kid. These leftists will lose their minds. If you say, man, I don't want my kid to be trans because they're more likely to commit suicide, they're more likely to have mental health issues, all of the above with the trans community, or whatever. I don't want my kid to be trans. I found out they were trans in utero, so I want to take his life because I don't want a trans kid. They would lose their minds. They will call you every name in the book and they hope you die. But they're okay with a person saying, I think my kid may have Down syndrome, so I'm going to take his life. Life don't matter. It's crazy to me. Let's go to the dog thing. This dude had a dog that was diagnosed with cancer. And he did everything he can to save that dog life. Here's one of the posts that he made about this dog. It says, Sweets, I guess the dog's name, super sixth birthday after she was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease last year around her 5th birthday. The vet said that she had weeks to live if we were lucky, maybe a few months. Here we are, a whole year later. She is still fighting. She is the 0.0001% of super dogs or superhero dogs that can continue to live with no kidney. Now think about this for a minute. They told your dog had stage 4 cancer. What are the likelihood that your dog will live and not suffer with stage 4 cancer or have all this dysfunction and cause you all this money and inconvenience in your family, but you save your dog's life? You said, forget the odds, my dog is worth living. We're not going to let it go down like that. Yeah, you can put the dog down. Why are you going to pay money for a dog that's going to die anyway? No, but you thought the dog's life was worth fighting for and didn't fight for your own kids. So you put it on the internet, we're going to get on you. Here's some people, I'll put some comments on the thing where people are going at him over this. Getting ate up in the comment section. You know, you could do that, but you want to save a dog's life. So that's the first argument. The throw up in the mouth was this one with this dog. I don't understand. I'll never get it. I was faced with a situation like this. I had an unplanned pregnancy. I wasn't pregnant. You get what I'm saying. What was my decision? I was not going to go down the path of saying, oh, I'm not married. Oh, I got to save face because I'm finna get killed in the church. I'm supposed to be Mr. Brandon Tatum. I'm holier than thou. I'm in an apostolic Pentecostal church. I'm singing in the choir. I'm ushering on the usher board. I'm cleaning the church. I'm doing all this. Everybody think Brandon Tatum is so perfect. I could have saved face. I was not married. I didn't know what I was going to do. I did not have a stable job at the time. I was in college. I could have did all kind of, but what I said is that two wrongs don't make a right. You have a kid out of wedlock, that don't mean you need to go down the path to have an abortion. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. Because I could not live with myself saying, I'm going to take my kid's life because it's inconvenient to me. I'm going to take that. They don't deserve to live because I feel inconvenient. It wasn't inconvenient at night, was it? It wasn't inconvenient pumping and sweating, was it? So you don't get a chance to say, well, I want to do all this and have fun and lay up and do this and be with this woman and do this, and something happen. You go, oh, no, that's going to mess my life up. I'm going to unalive the unborn because I don't deserve to do that. Well, if you didn't deserve to do that, you shouldn't have been in that bed or in the den or wherever y'all was at. I just think people need to hold themselves accountable to this stuff. It is not okay to live in a society where just because things are inconvenient for you, allegedly, that you want to take the kid's life. That's not okay. That's not reasonable. There's a better way. You push through it. And you make the right decision and let everything else fall where it may. Things ain't going to be perfect for you. It ain't going to be easy. It may not. It may be easy. You know, some people got it easy. They have these little situations and then everything goes well. Some people have these situations that don't go well. But life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So how about you figure out what is God's plan in my life now that I'm in this situation? And I don't think God want me to take the life of an unborn child because that kid had nothing to do with me pumping and sweating. Make the decision to say, I'm going to be a man. I laid in that bed and I'm going to take care of my responsibilities. That's what we should be saying. Not this beta male energy where, oh, it may be inconvenient to us, so we got to get rid of the kid. You know how inconvenient it could be if you have a kid with somebody you don't get along with? That may be very inconvenient for you. That don't mean you got to kill your kid. You just work through it. Make the best of it. Pray about it. Change your behaviors. Okay. What we got left? Let's go to the next, Karmelo Anthony. Because is that the last story? I got one more story. Karmelo is the last one? All right, we're going to get to this Karmelo Anthony because I think this stuff is getting out of control, to be quite honest. I keep telling y'all at the beginning I'm going to talk about all these stories and I run out of time. I need to start working on that. Let's get to the Karmelo Anthony thing because I think this is absolutely crazy. Now, let's play the Fox News clip, and I'm going to show you two different stories that are being told on the internet. And this is the reason we have so much division in our country. Because some people are lying, dirty dogs that should be shamed. Roll the clip.
calling it unjustified murder. So Karmelo Anthony is charged with murdering 17-year-old Austin Metcalf after admitting to stabbing him in the chest at a high school track meet last year. Police say the fight started because Anthony was under another team's tent and Metcalf told him to leave. Anthony's defense attorneys say he stabbed Metcalf, who was unarmed, out of fear as a group was, quote, turning on him. But prosecutors yesterday in court showed jurors surveillance footage they say tells a different story. The footage, it's grainy and shot from a distance, but reporters inside the courtroom tell us it shows a brief confrontation between Anthony and Metcalf, not a larger group, before Anthony runs from the scene. And that fight, it only lasted about 4 minutes or so. Jurors heard emotional testimony from Metcalf's track coach. He said that Metcalf was helping lead setup efforts that day, which basically means he was in charge of setting up the tent and equipment. The coach testified and said athletes don't just go under other teams' tents. This is something that's understood between the athletes. This case, it's drawn national attention with race becoming a major issue. The final jury does not include any black jurors. Prosecutors say this case has nothing to do with race and it should be decided on the facts. This trial is expected to last up to 2 weeks, Bill, and if he is convicted, Anthony faces up to life in prison.
Then to watch and we shall. Brooke Taylor,
so let's talk about this for a minute, and we got a bunch of clips for evidence purposes. The first thing is that it's very sad, and I think we all know it's a sad situation, but you kill somebody, man. And we just heard from the official news, I think that's fair to say, this is officially from the news, that court reporters are reporting what they saw. Unless you saying that court reporters made up something, I think it's fair to believe. We already heard testimony from the defense. No one was claiming what I'm about to show you. No one has ever claimed what I'm about to show you on this. The court reporters are saying that this did not happen. But this man right here, put him on the screen. What is he talking about? And I hope to God that it's a video out here that we ain't never seen. Because if this man is lying about what he's alleging he saw on the same video that lady just talked about, this boy, that you should burn in hell for lying that hard. Roll the clip.
You seen the video on 2 hours. Was it clear enough or was it fuzzy or what?
No, it was clear. It was okay. It's clear enough where you can see the actual individual raindrops come by the cameras.
Okay.
That's how clear it is. You actually see them walking up. You see that Karmelo is already up under there. He's under there minding his business.
Dodging the rain or?
Yeah, it was still raining. You know,
right.
I'm from Louisville. So that day we were under a tornado watch.
Right.
And we were under thunderstorm warning. And we know we had already had some light rain then, and it started raining again. Then it was over with for the day. Okay. So that's kind of what happened on that day. But they were at a rain delay already. And so during that time when that happened, the twins, their two buddies, and a few other kids, because there was a few kids involved with them, they were all coming from the direction of the middle school, coming walking back up.
Right.
On the video, you can see those 4 that actually was involved, and maybe about 3 or 4 others that was with them, skipping up, trying to catch up behind. One veered off probably toward his way to go to the coach and kind of distract him a little bit. And then the other 4 came walking together. One went in front.
Time out. He said one went to the coach to distract him a little bit. Where are you getting somebody distracting somebody? Are you indicating that you're saying that somebody went and they had a plan to go hurt Karmelo, even though he's under somebody else's tent, and one went to distract the coach while the others went over there to do what he's about to say next? Roll it.
Them went past.
Right.
The other 4 went and they surrounded Karmelo. You know, if you're Karmelo.
And they showed that on that video.
It's on the video.
Okay, come on.
You can see them walk
I'm going
up.
to say little stuff.
I'll put it this way.
Okay.
They actually tell you when you're watching the video, pay attention to this corner right here, because if you look anywhere else, you might miss different things.
Okay.
So watch those 4. Here they're 4 right there coming up.
Right.
That's exactly what they say.
Okay.
And so you have no way to be confused that it's those 4.
Okay.
So they come up, they surround them, and this immediate moment of not even a few seconds of pause, then that's when they jump. And so
they actually did jump him.
Yeah, it wasn't just no touch. It wasn't just all that moment. Yeah, it was a push. It was all kind of things. But Austin pushed, Hunter hit, and then everybody swung. But
He said Austin push, Hunter, his brother, punched, and then everybody jumped in. This man, I want to save this because if he's right, but I ain't never heard this anywhere, and y'all just saw the evidence that they said that this didn't happen. But he's saying he got jumped by 4 people. He's saying he saw fighting and people jumping Karmelo. Okay, finish it.
So it's more than the twins that got some licks on them.
All 4.
So
all 4.
It showed that in the video.
Yes, in the video. So again, you got Hunter and Austin standing in the middle.
Okay.
And you have the light bright boy here, and you have the darker boy here.
Okay.
I think that's what I remember. So I have to go back and think about it. But that's where they were. One was going up and down while they were talking and kind of pushing or whatever he was doing. Austin and Hunter was in front. So where they're talking about grabbing bags, Hunter actually said that I grabbed his bag.
Right.
And then later on, he said that Austin threw the bag.
Okay.
Jeff also said the same thing. And so that's them both antagonizing. And we know under Texas law, I just have to fear that you're about to do something to me and you can get up out of here. Yeah,
no,
so you ain't to touch me. But at that point, he still stood there and stopped there. And whatever they say alleged was said, you don't know that until they get into it here. But once they did that, they started hitting him. Karmelo actually was able to back out and try to get away. So he was actually trying to get away the first time. Austin grabbed him, and you can see his hoodie coming out like this, and they brought him back in. Okay. And when they brought him back in, that's when you can see Austin put him in a headlock. You can see that all the rest of them are still hitting. That must be when the poke happened, because he was able to get out again. He backed out. He looked to the right. That's where the other little kid was filming, because they got some cell phone footage too. But that's where he was filming. He looked directly at him in his camera, and then he went this way to the left. He went down. He fell. And that's when they realized he was gone, because they were still punching. And when he fell, that's when they all turned around. They started chasing him. Austin tried to go chase him too, but he grabbed his chest. I guess he realized that something happened to him. And that's when he went down a little bit and he fell down. But all 3 of them were chasing. But Karmelo was so fast, he got away and went around to the coach. And so you can see them on the video pointing toward Karmelo and the coach.
All right. When somebody sent me this clip, and when I watched it, the guy does not seem like he's lying. But it's inconsistent with everything that's public, that's been published, and also inconsistent with the defense team that's defending Karmelo. It's also inconsistent with Karmelo's statement. Karmelo never mentioned he was getting jumped by 4 people. He never mentioned that. Neither has his defense team have. And if you're going to stab Austin and the other guys are jumping you, you didn't stab nobody else. That does not add up. Here's another clip from the news, and this guy's telling a different story. Bro, the clip.
There are online rumors that started at least by some in the Anthony camp that he was jumped by 4 guys, and that his act was therefore in self-defense. And the video you're telling me does not support that allegation.
Not even in the least bit, Will. Not even close. It was one-on-one. You can absolutely make out that there's 2 people that get into a scuffle. It's very, very short in duration. The contact between the 2 of them probably lasted less than 5 seconds. And as soon as the push went the other direction, which presumably is when he was stabbed, you can see everybody, completely scattered.
Now, I want you guys to put this in perspective. One guy is saying, they both claim they're seeing this video. And the court reporters are claiming they saw the video, which just happened the other day. They showed the video to the jurors. This guy is saying he got jumped by 4 people. They beat him up. There was choking, like he got him in a headlock. Like it was all this stuff. And then the same people that claim to watch this, the court reporters and that gentleman that you just heard, said that it was clear it was only a short altercation between 2 people. How can both of those things be true? Somebody lying. Somebody's lying. And the question is not if somebody's lying. The question is why. Why are people lying? Just tell the truth. I want to play a clip too. This is just indicative of what we're looking at. Not this one, the other one with the black girl that Savannah was asking questions to. Roll the clip.
If evidence does come out that Karmelo was not in fact fighting for his life when he stabbed and killed Austin Metcalf, do you think that the black community will accept that?
If evidence shows that he did not, no, we're going to stand by ours regardless. They stand by theirs.
All right, time out.
We're going to stand.
Maybe that's why ain't no black jurors. Maybe that's why no black jurors are on the jury team. Maybe that's why it's done. These black folks, and me and my mama, we were all talking about this last night. And I got a meeting to go to. But black people, I can't understand. Like when I was young, I was ignorant. I was a kid. And then I grew up and became a man and I become more wise and informed about stuff because I lived a little bit, I studied a little bit, went to university and all this other stuff. I am shocked when I see black people still thinking like I was thinking when I was 5. I don't understand how an adult could get on camera and say, we're sticking with ours. And she said, if you found evidence that Karmelo was wrong, would you change your... No, we sticking with ours. That is the craziest thing that one could say. You're going to stick with falsehoods because the kid is black. I would never get it. And we got other clips, other stories. I don't know if I'll be able to try to get to some of them. Maybe I'll do it in post-production. We'll put them out as individual videos. But we got a clip of these black kids robbing this Marine. These are teenagers. These are kids, man. Robbing somebody, put the gun to his face. Like, I don't understand. And then black people want to act like it's the white man's fault. They want to act like the white man, everybody's against you. Y'all are cutting up. That Chinese man in that store killed that boy because he pulled a gun on them. They've had to shoot people and fight people and call the police 200 times, not because he's trigger happy, because if he was so trigger happy, then nobody would go to the store and they would go out of business. No, it's because Negroes don't know how to act. I'm telling you, I grew up in a black neighborhood. Black people don't know how to act in these inner cities. It's crazy. And they justify it. And they stealing from Wang Wang them. And they know they stealing because then they go tell somebody else to steal. We were stealing. When I was a kid, we were stealing out that store. And them Chinese people in there know we dirty. Stealing. Getting a bag of chips. Stealing out the store. And then we get on TV and go, man, they following us around the store. The same person saying they following us around the store is the same person stealing from the store. The same person buying boosted stuff on the street. They come by with polo shirts, $20. You know people stealing. You won't start a company because you know they're going to steal from you. I'm going to say this and I'm going to end the show. I put that on everything. A black person is not going to take over that convenience store. I put that on my life. And I ain't going to put it on my life. I don't know. Somebody may get a wow her. I'll pay somebody $500. If a black person, I'm talking about a person that works in the store. I'm not talking about somebody that funds the store. A black person takes over that convenience store. I give somebody $500 if they do it. No black person is going to take over that store because they don't want to get robbed and be dealing with these black people either. I can almost put it on my life, but I don't want to play with my life. I guarantee you, black folks that are entrepreneurial and they're making money and they're educated, they don't do business in the black community. For the most part, these Asian people will. That's why they got the hair places, the nail places, the convenience store that y'all still complaining about them owning, the convenience store, the laundromats, all that other stuff run by everybody else with black people. Because the smart black people that want to make business or do business, they leave. And they start a business uptown. Because they ain't going to get robbed every weekend. Tell me I'm lying. All right. Love you guys. I got to get up out of here. See you on the next one. We out.